Many people believe that the Yemeni war started in 2015, but it actually dates back to 2004. Yes, the war in Yemen began more than 20 years ago when the Houthi movement led by Hussein Badruddin al-Houthi launched violent confrontations against the Yemeni government, aiming to impose their extremist ideology on the Yemeni population. This initial spark ignited what would become a prolonged and bloody conflict in Yemen. Houthis launched numerous attacks against both military and civilian targets, consistently refusing to engage in peaceful dialogue and rejecting all diplomatic efforts to resolve the conflict. All ceasefire agreements negotiated from 2004 until 2009 were violated almost immediately by Houthis. They have committed widespread crimes and caused significant destruction in every area they occupy. Before the Houthis took control of Sana'a, Yemen was considered an exemplary country for the political transition of power. This reputation changed dramatically when the Houthis seized the capital city of Sana'a in September 2014. Following their takeover, they signed the Peace and National Partnership Agreement, which granted them significant privileges and powers. However, they quickly broke this agreement and all agreements with local tribes. They launched fierce attacks on these tribes, taking control of their areas, bombing homes, mosques, destroying property, displacing families, and executing tribal leaders. In January 2015, the office director of Yemen's president was kidnapped by Houthi militants to prevent him from presenting a draft of new constitution at a presidential meeting. At the time of his abduction, he was serving as the Secretary General of the National Dialogue Conference, an initiative aimed at promoting peace and reconciliation among Yemen's diverse political factions, including the Houthis, who were highly represented and granted previously unimaginable privileges. 2 days later, the presidential residence was attacked, and the president, along with members of his government, was placed under house arrest. In February 2015, the Houthis unilaterally announced the so-called Constitutional Declaration, dissolving parliament and forming a presidential council and government. Shortly after, the first Iranian flight arrived in Sana'a, marking the beginning of 14 weekly flights between Tehran and Sana'a to support the Houthis militarily and logistically. The Houthis conducted military drills near the Saudi border, showcasing a full arsenal of weapons. Houthi media and fighters openly threatened to take over the holy cities of Mecca and Medina. Despite all these escalations, there were still no airstrikes or attacks by any internal or external powers. The Houthis also announced an agreement with Iran to expand the port of Hodeidah in western Yemen. Amid these developments, the Houthis bombed Al-Ma'ashiq Palace in Aden, targeting the legitimate president Abdurrabbu Mansur Hadi. And in the same month, the Houthi leader Abdul Malik al-Houthi declared a general mobilization, harnessing all state capabilities for military operations.
تعبئة عامة، رفض المعسكرات واللجان الشعبية بالمقاتلين، تحرك الجبهات الإعلامية في فضح وكشف المتآمرين والمجرمين.
Houthis reciprocated every concession from other political parties with increased aggression. Their militants stormed Ta'is city, deployed thousands of fighters to invade Lahj, and seized control of the strategic city of Aden. And from there, the Houthis posed a threat to control the Bab al-Mandab Strait. The Houthis' horrific crimes and vocal threats continued unabated. Only then did the Arab coalition led by Saudi Arabia announce the start of military operations to support legitimacy in Yemen. The international community, including the United Nations, has largely failed to acknowledge the true origins of Yemeni conflict. Since 2004, Houthis have broken more than 100 peace agreements and pacts. They would only resort to agreements when they felt on the verge of collapse or needed resources to rebuild and rearm their group. Sustainable peace in Yemen will never be achieved without recognizing the root causes of the conflict and addressing not just the symptoms, but the source to pave the way for lasting peace.